To be undocumented isn't one experience. To be undocumented is to have to navigate a system that is consistently telling you to prove yourself to exist in the country. Other undocumented people would hit me up through Facebook or Instagram and just let me know they heard my story and that they resonated. So it's helped because I've been able to build solidarity and community all across the country by just sharing that. My name is Sara Mora. I'm an immigrant rights activist, and I'm 22 years old. I was born in San Jose, Costa Rica, and when I was 3 years old, my parents immigrated to the US. People move for different reasons from their country, so I think it's putting yourself in the shoes of somebody who decides to make that move, or using that same empathy and, I guess, sympathy to think about where that person is coming from. So I slowly became an activist in high school for really serious things that I didn't even realize I was an activist for, because it wasn't really trendy when I was growing up and the community I was growing up in. We did it because there was a lot of pain and a lot of sadness in our classmates' lives and our own lives. So we spoke to the Board of Education and rallied up about different things that youth needed while being in class. And then it led to the craziness of me being an immigrant rights activist, which I was not planning, obviously. After high school, I interviewed the president of Costa Rica. The president visited a local place in the community, and I took the chance to ask him about DACA. And the president said, I actually do not know what DACA is. And that was definitely the trigger to everything, because I went viral in Costa Rica. I realized elected officials weren't necessarily superheroes. They're human, and they also could perhaps not know about a policy. When Trump presented DACA, it was such a national reaction from my community. It was the angriest I've ever been in my life. It was almost a really surreal moment where I went from wanting to be in diplomacy school, which is such a different world than activism, to being no, there's too much going on the ground. As young people, we need to find out what we're gonna do next. I felt like a lot of people around me were scared, and there was a big conversation about what would happen. And I was like, okay, if somebody's gonna share their story, I'm gonna support them. But then I realized, what if I share my story? And when I did, I met with the lead senator of New Jersey, which is Cory Booker. And I feel to me, it was a sign that maybe it was okay to speak, even though I also felt scared like everybody else. Sharing my story doesn't change the cause. It only educates or amplifies what I feel as an undocumented person. There isn't much time to dedicate to the depth of the pain that people are going through nationally and globally. And as a young person, I want to try to emphasize how much one person can't speak for everyone, but also how little we're actually paying attention to what we're really listening to.
This is our time to take action, whether you...
Loving media as much as I do, that's why I'm here, using campaigns and working with people with high exposure to channel a collective call to action. Now we're not even looking at how do we tell them what's happening, we're also looking at how do we make them do something about what's happening. I think it's super honorable to learn from spaces like Eastside Cafe and from organizers like you guys, because it's a living example that there is people power, and there is power in building collectives and communities and encouraging the people that are the most marginalized to find healing and to find community.
When we come together, we can all work together to come up with ways of changing these things, making a difference. But we need to heal in order to do that, because if we don't heal, we won't be well. Healing through art, through music. We have to find that connection with each other in order to surpass whatever obstacles we're facing in our communities, because we face a lot of them, and they're there every day, and they don't just go away with a hashtag or a movement.
Right.
But how do I allow that to not dictate my life on an everyday basis? So I lead with love. I don't lead from hate.
Important to know that there's hella talent, hella beauty, despite the pain and that circumstances we have to overcome as a community.
Yeah. Everything that we do is not just for us, it's for the next 7 generations.
There is so much room for young people and people directly impacted to speak out. And even if you are a young person that's not directly impacted at all, you still have a voice as a young person where you could impact others to realize they're not being sensitive to issues, and be the cause leader for that and be the one educating others as you go. I will continue to show up strongly and I guess format what is okay to say and what isn't, and kind of be a trailblazer when it comes to media and different spaces like that, so that generations to come after me won't have to fight as hard as maybe I did. Within the context of my world, telling your story and speaking out about something that you see as urgent is powerful, and that it's okay to feel fear at first, but to be brave is to speak despite of fear. So that's what I will continue to do.